Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really complex story. It's all about deforestation in Malaysia. You've got this nation, right? It's caught between protecting its incredible ancient natural heritage and, well, the relentless pressures of economic progress.
So, to really get a feel for what's at stake here, I want you to just think about something for a second. What if you could actually visit a forest that's older than the dinosaurs? I mean, an ecosystem that was around long before T-Rex ever walked the Earth.
Well, believe it or not, that place actually exists. We're talking about the tropical rainforests of Malaysia. But, and this is the big but, this ancient world is facing a very modern threat. And that exact conflict, that tension, is what we're going to unpack today.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at what makes this forest so incredibly special. Then we'll get into the drivers of deforestation. What's actually causing it to disappear. We'll cover the huge environmental and social costs, but also the powerful economic engine driving it all. And finally, we'll talk about the really difficult balancing act that Malaysia is facing.
Okay, let's dive right in. Because, to really grasp the scale of what's being lost, we first have to appreciate the sheer irreplaceable value of this place. I mean, this isn't just any forest, not by a long shot.
Get this. To put it into perspective, Malaysia's rainforests are estimated to be 130 million years old. They survived the ice ages. They are, without a doubt, one of the oldest, most complex ecosystems on the entire planet. It's like a living, breathing library of evolution, and honestly, we're only just beginning to understand it. So, the big question is, if these forests are such a global treasure, why in the world are they being cleared at such an alarming rate? Okay, let's break down the main forces that are driving all this. It's not just one simple thing. It's more like a whole web of interconnected causes. For decades, logging for tropical hardwoods was a huge deal. But today, the economic focus has kind of shifted, and other drivers have become even more powerful. And this is really the crucial point. While all those things play a part, it's large-scale commercial agriculture that has become the single biggest driver. We're talking about one specific, globally in-demand crop that has just dramatically sped up the whole process. And this happens through a method called monoculture. So picture this. Instead of a thriving, super diverse forest with thousands of different species all working together, you just wipe it clean and plant a massive, uniform field of just one thing. And in Malaysia's case, that one thing is overwhelmingly the oil palm.
So why the huge focus on palm oil? Well, because the global demand for it is absolutely massive. It's an ingredient in something like half of all the packaged products you find in the supermarket. I'm talking pizza, donut, soap, lipstick, you name it. Our daily consumption is directly connected to what's happening in these fields.
But it's not just farming, right? Energy development also takes a huge toll. For instance, a staggering 700 square kilometers of rainforest were flooded by just one project, the Bakun Dam in Sarawak. I mean, that's an entire massive area of ancient forest and farmland completely underwater, all just to generate electricity. Okay, so now let's talk about the impact of all this clearing. Because the price of this kind of development, well, it's incredibly steep. And it's not just the environment that pays, it's people too. It really creates this destructive chain reaction, a vicious cycle. See, once that protective canopy of trees is gone, the thin, fragile topsoil is totally exposed. Then, the intense tropical rains come, and they just wash it all away. What's left is barren land, which makes it incredibly difficult, sometimes impossible, for the forest to ever grow back. And of course, when the trees and the soil go, so does all the life they support. These rainforests are what scientists call a biodiversity hotspot. It's basically a fancy way of saying they are packed with a staggering concentration of different species, many of which you literally cannot find anywhere else on the planet. And this is just a tiny, tiny sample of the unique life that's losing its home. We're talking iconic animals, like the Bornean orangutan and the Malayan tiger being pushed right to the brink of extinction. And it's not just the animals. We're losing unique plants, too, like the giant Rafflesia, the world's largest flower. They're just vanishing. And then there's the profound human cost. Take the Bakun Dam again. It didn't just flood a forest, it flooded ancestral lands. This forced entire indigenous communities to move from homes their families had lived in for generations, completely severing a connection to the land that was absolutely central to their entire culture.
So the environmental and social toll is incredibly steep. That's clear. But to really understand why this keeps happening, we have to look at the other side of the coin. the powerful economic forces at play. Because for many people, this isn't seen as destruction, it's seen as development.
Look, palm oil, mining, and energy, these aren't just random activities. They are strategic pillars of the entire national economy. They generate a huge amount of income and are seen as absolutely essential for fueling industrial growth all across the country.
And the benefits, you have to admit, are clear and tangible. These industries create jobs, they bring in crucial foreign investment, they fill government coffers with tax money, and they provide the power needed for modern life. So if you're looking at it from a national development perspective, the incentive to keep going is absolutely enormous.
So that's really the crucial point here. This isn't a simple story of good guys versus bad guys. It's a deeply complex dilemma, with real significant trade-offs on both sides of the argument. And this really lays out the core dilemma perfectly. On one side, you have these immediate, measurable economic gains, but on the other, you have environmental and social costs that are maybe harder to put a price tag on, but are absolutely devastating in the long run. We're talking about everything from losing potential new medicines hidden in rainforest plants to the future decline of ecotourism. Ultimately, it all boils down to this. You have a nation that is striving for economic prosperity, while at the same time, it's the guardian of one of the world's greatest natural treasures. And the reality is, right now, those two goals are often in direct conflict with each other. And you know, this isn't just a question for Malaysia. It's really a question for the whole world. The challenge is crystal clear. How do you find a path that allows for progress and development without completely sacrificing an irreplaceable 130-million-year-old inheritance? Figuring that out, well, that's one of the greatest challenges of our time.